Hi everyone! So final video review for this week is for my paperback read, which was Madeleine by Nichols. For any of you that didn't see the introduction video last week, here's just a quick look at what the book looks like, and you can still catch that introduction video on my YouTube or on my blog. If you want to check out my review, I did just post that. So if you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog, then there is a link within the post. And this is the video review. So Madeleine by Nichols. Oh, excuse my French accent because it's awful. Fantastique. Oh, I loved it. Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it. Madeleine is a war widow, and she meets Claude, who is a woman working in town on the railway in a very male-dominated job. And when a dramatic event brings them together, spending time with one another, as Madeleine's past sort of comes back to play havoc with her present, all whilst her emotions are playing havoc with her heart about Claude. The two of them realise that they have this connection that is more than either of them realised existed. Like, they could feel that way, and so it left them with some quite difficult decisions to make in a post-World War II time. If I say much more than that, I'm going to spoil the book. So I loved this. Like I say, I absolutely loved it. It was contemporary. It was a really moving story. It was sensual, and it was immersive. Like, you really felt there in the moment. But it also had a sereneness to it, a calmness that you kind of expect with this historic type of setting. And it was a real gem. A real gem. And it's really a story not to be missed. So if you haven't read it, you really, really should. It's so good. It was a bit like, how can I put it? You know when you watch those old films on television, and they're a bit dull in their colour because they're filmed in the greyness of the countryside, or in a bleak time, like the wartime films. They're quite bleak in the way they filmed and look. It had that feeling of those films, if you like, that imagery, that everything was grey and dull, until you had the moments when Claude and Madeleine were together, and then it was like a burst of colour. It was amazing. It was so amazing. I can't think of the perfect film to describe how this book comes across, but it comes across like one of those really contemporary, cozy, it's raining outside, cozy feelings. And I loved this. This was perfect for that. Like, this is like, grab a blanket, curl up, immerse yourself in it. It was amazing. The historic feel and setting of the story just played second to the important elements of feelings and emotions. This was very much about the feelings and emotions of Claude and Madeleine, and the potential for romance. And it was just a perfect combination, that backdrop to what was a difficult time if you were of the persuasion, and especially for Madeleine, she's not sure of her feelings. She's not sure where they've come from, and she's not sure why she has them. So she's also sort of in that limbo of discovery and working it all out, why she feels this way. So the visuals and imagery that Emma has created with this story, even the grittier, harder hitting parts of it, was so beautiful in a way that I could just see it all clearly. I really felt like I was standing there. A bit like that. Like when you see something with like a cloud film around it, and it's almost like you were there and you remember it, but you can't quite remember it as clearly as you thought you did because you weren't outsider looking in. It's like that. Of course, it's amazing. I wish I could bottle it and visualize it and just show you what I mean. But it was amazing. And it felt as if that I was there, in this town. Just maybe not always in like, not one of like the characters' shoes, but just there, and I was experiencing, I was hearing all the stories, and I was hearing all the gossip, and you could just imagine it all going on, and you were sort of experiencing these two unique women just falling in love. It was amazing. But Claude was a really strong character. She had a good sense of life, morals. Her ethics were nothing but upstanding and respectful, and all she faced in what is predominantly a male profession in this town was something to be endured, and she did so, with such strength. She stood strong, she stood true to herself. She wasn't pretending anything. She knew who she was and what she represented and what she wanted to represent, and she just did it. She wasn't trying to be one of the blokes. That was just her. That's just who she was as herself, and I loved that. No matter what, she was always Claude. She just was. And Madeleine was also a strong character, but for very different reasons. She was emotionally challenged by meeting Claude, and always as a widow and a mother, she was constantly challenged, and so she had a different set of morals. She had a different set of responsibilities. She had to consider other things, and they just complemented each other so perfectly. But for me, like I say, this was very serene, and it just had this lovely feel and flow. It carried me away. I got really lost in the book. I couldn't really put it down. I was so immersed in it. And this was by far my favourite story of Emma Nichols so far, and I absolutely adored it. I really did. There was just this unexplainable beauty. I've tried, but I just don't think I'm doing it justice. It had a depth and a loveliness to this story that you could just you have to truly experience it for yourself. You have to read it. You have to have that experience. I can't convey it enough. It's an amazing experience, and when you pick up the book and you read it and you have it, I think you'll know what I mean. Everyone will perceive this story slightly differently, but it, for me, is a classic romance. It's got all those elements of a classic romance, so I absolutely adored reading it, and I encourage all romance lovers to read this, and other readers to pick it up, even if you think historical romance or historical set books aren't your thing. I think if you pick this one up, you will be pleasantly surprised. It's an experience in itself, and you'll really enjoy the story, as did I. I mean, it was far beyond my expectations of the story. And so I absolutely adored it, loved it so much, and hope you will too. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab yourselves a copy of Madeleine by Emma Nichols, which I hope you will. If you've read Madeleine, I would love to hear what you thought of it. Please comment below, please get involved. It's one of those books that you just want to talk about with people and get their view on, so please comment below and let me know if you have read it and what you thought of it. If you haven't read it yet, but you're planning to read it, it's on your to-be read list, or you're thinking, I really got to read that book, then again, it would be great to hear from you. It's always great to hear what you're reading. Please comment below, please let us know. And if you do read it, I hope you love it. I hope you have a lovely experience reading it as well, and hope it moves you. Bye.